Hey, third graders!
Hey!
Hope you're all doing really well at home. We're doing great at school. We're ready to kick off another day of learning. Today is day 2 of math. Today is Wednesday, March 18th. Let's get started.
Let's do it.
All right.
Go!
Remember, we are learning geometry in math, and we're going to get started today with session 4. Some classrooms were not quite to session 4, and that's okay. Some classes may have already done session 4, and you may have actually already completed the work that we're going to ask you to be doing in your student book. That's okay too. Just follow along and still submit your work to us like Mr. Leffel is going to show you to do it in a minute. Okay, so we're going to be learning today about tangrams and shape attributes. We're going to define parallelograms and trapezoids as quadrilaterals and identify their attributes. Remember, a quadrilateral is a flat shape with how many sides?
4.
You guys got it, 4 sides. An attribute is any way that we describe a shape. So the first shape we need to know is a parallelogram. Parallelogram is a 2-dimensional flat shape with 4 sides, so it's a quadrilateral, with both pairs of opposite sides parallel. So let's take a look. So in this parallelogram here, it's got 2 sets or 2 pairs of parallel sides. Here's the first pair of parallel sides. So if these were train tracks, the 2 lines would keep going on and on and on forever, and they would never touch, okay? The second set of parallel line is right here. And again, if they kept going forever and ever and ever, they would never touch. The next shape that we need to know is a trapezoid. A trapezoid is a 2-dimensional flat shape with 4 sides. So again, it's a quadrilateral. Trapezoids have not 2 pairs, but only 1 pair of parallel sides. So check it out. This this trapezoid has 1 set of parallel lines there. This one here. And this one here. So again, trapezoids have 1 pair of parallel sides. Parallelograms have 2 pairs of parallel sides. Got it? Good, let's move on.
Okay, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is tangrams. And tangrams, here are some fun facts about tangrams. We would normally be having you make a tangram, but since we can't do that, we're just going to talk a little bit about it and show you a fun activity that you can do with them. So they were invented by the Chinese possibly hundreds of years ago. They consist of these 7 pieces called tans that can be combined to form that square. They can be arranged in thousands of ways to make shapes or pictures, but all tans must touch, but none can overlap. So in your lesson today, we gave you this link of just a fun activity that you can do if you want to about tangrams. So I'm just going to show you a little bit about this and what it is. So here's the link, and if you click on that link, it's going to take you to this page that says tangrams. And you would hit play. And this right here is tangrams, play, and it says how to play. Try to create the shape shown using all 7 pieces provided. Shapes can't overlap or go outside of the lines. So starting with the easy version, it actually shows you where the shapes would go. So you'd click this over here. You can maneuver and manipulate and put it where it needs to go. And then it goes a little bit lighter, and you'd pull the next one. So once you've got each piece where it needs to go and you've dragged them, it creates that shape. And then you could move on to level 2 and level 3 and so on. So that's just kind of a little fun activity that you're able to do with tangrams or play with, but it's not something you have to do. Mr. Leffel, on to you.
All right, so now that you learned about tangrams and you also reviewed what a parallelogram is and a trapezoid is, you now have to do the student book page. So what I would do is I would pause your video because you need to go get your student book right now. It's that yellow book that you have. You got it? I hope so. All right, so on page 192, what you have to do is look at number 1 and number 2. It asks you to cross out the figure that is not a parallelogram, but also cross out the figure that is not a trapezoid. So you need to remember 2 things. That a parallelogram has 2 pairs of parallel sides. How many pairs of parallel sides?
2 pairs, Mr. Leffel.
And a trapezoid has 1 pair of parallel sides.
1.
Did you see that? Holy cow, only 1. So that's the main difference. All right, so on 1 and 2, you're going to have to do the crossing out and the circling. Number 3 asks you, how is a trapezoid like a parallelogram? So you're saying how they're similar. How a trapezoid is similar to a parallelogram. But then number 4, how a trapezoid and parallelogram are different. So a little bit of a compare and contrast. So hopefully you can do it as a bulleted list. If you want to do sentences, it's totally fine. Then at number 5, you have to solve the math problems, and it looks like they're addition and subtraction. So good luck with that. So once you get done with student book page 192, your homework for today is your home connections page 103. So on there, it's very similar to what you did in the workbook page. However, there are 2 words you need to know, congruent and similar. Congruent means that it's exactly the same shape and size. Sides. All sides are congruent, which means they're equal. All angles are equal as well. But then in number 2, it asks you to circle the 2 triangles that are similar. Similar just means exactly the same, but not necessarily the same size. So the shapes can be bigger or smaller, but they're all proportional to one another. In number 3, you're going to add 3-digit math. You can do it, and then subtract, again, some 3-digit minus some 2-digit numbers that you have to do. Some of them are 3-digit numbers on the bottom. And then number 5, hold up, you have to round. So you have to remember how you round to the nearest 10 and round to the nearest 100. If you remember kind of like that rhyme that we did, 5 or more, you gotta raise the score. 4 or less, you gotta let it rest. Some of you know that, some of you don't, but if you need some help, ask a parent, or you can also email one of your classroom teachers. Now I do have to show you one thing, so I'm gonna pause you for a second. Now 3rd graders, we're all set and ready in our Google Drive. So the big thing is, remember, you have a 3rd grade folder with your first name on it. Double click. And remember, your reading Google Doc is there, but you need your math Google slide. Double click on that. And it will have all your work that you did put in yesterday. Remember the student book page, the yellow book, and then the pink book, your home connections page. Now, what we have to do is we have to add a brand new slide. And if you already have them there, perfect. But remember, if you need to add a slide, very simple, click on the word slide, click on new slide, and it will show up there. And all you have to do is click and add the dates, but then also what the homework is or the student book page is. So with that being said, today is Wednesday, March 18th. And remember, we have to put in our student book page. And that was what again, everybody?
192.
192, everybody. And from there, remember, we have to click. Once we have our workbook page all done, our student book page all done, we have to click Insert, and we have to take a picture of it. Remember, us teachers need to see and make sure that you're doing exactly what you need to every single day. And then again, you need to make sure that everything is there. If I take a picture like this, I'm missing the bottom. So you need to make sure that you're taking a picture far enough away. And what do we say when we click? Boom.
Boom.
And then once again, click and insert. And make it a little bit bigger. But remember, don't make it like this because then it gets too scrunched. We want to keep it wide. And then, once again, number 4, on the 4th side, we have to add the dates, Wednesday, March 18th, and we have to say that it's the home connections. What is that page again?
103.
And then once we prove that we are done, we have to prove that it is done. Click Insert Image, Camera, and once again, take a picture of that. And it's right here, missed out on the background, perfect, and boom. And remember, it's going to stay up here, so what we have to do is click on that second picture, make sure that we're not putting the same picture up there, and as last time, thank you. So, we just went through the process of you putting more slides in your Google slide. Hopefully everything is pretty self-explanatory for you. Teachers, this is a great day. Our first official math lesson, technically second, but first official math lesson. So if you have any questions, let us know. Let your classroom teacher know. We hope you're doing well.
Take care.
Keep washing those hands.